Trae Young. The Miami Heat's pursuit of another star is among the most frequently discussed topics across the NBA lexicon. Most of the time, these conversations dance around what should be clearly, if painfully, obvious. Landing another big name is almost assuredly going to require that Pat Riley and the rest of the front office part with Tyler Herro. This harsh reality is hinted at in the presumed stance on Herro's extension eligibility. Beginning in October, he can sign a 3-year deal worth up to $150 million. Hardly anybody expects him to get that much, or even extension at all. Paying him eats into Miami's projected cap flexibility in 2027, when as of now, it can carve out north of $90 million. But foregoing a Herro extension isn't just about that. Nor is it about the complications of evaluating him in the aftermath of his recent ankle surgery. It's about keeping him trade eligible and also ensuring he remains someone for whom teams want to actually trade. The Heat probably can't get a superstar without moving Tyler Herro. Superstar trade packages do not have an exact formula, but they tend to follow one of two blueprints. Either they feature mountains of draft capital, or they are headlined by a youngish blue-chip player and more modest amounts of first-round picks. Miami does not have the draft equity necessary to get by on draft selections and filler alone. It can only trade up 2 first-rounders this season. And though this number increases to 4 over the summer, that still won't be enough to complete deals for top-tier stars. Desmond Bane just fetched 5 first-round picks, 4 outright and 1 swap, and he's never made an All-Star game. Outgoing salary will need to be part of the value Miami sends out. That's a problem, too. It has contracts to match money, but soon-to-be rebuilding teams won't trip over themselves for Terry Rozier's expiring deal or Andrew Wiggins' contract, 2026 to 27 player option. Herro, on the other hand, is a 25-year-old All-Star. He is someone who should pique other teams' attention. The question is, will he? Tyler Herro's trade value is complicated. Stigmas against guards who aren't floor generals and can't play minutes at the 3 have reached an all-time high. Guys like Cam Thomas, Colin Sexton, Anthony Simons, Jalen Green, and more have failed to net lucrative long-term deals or bring back a ton of assets in trades. To be sure, Herro is better than all of them. What that means for his trade value remains to be seen. He wasn't coveted by the Portland Trail Blazers in Damian Lillard negotiations on his current deal. While he has proven a lot since then, it's not like we're hearing rampant rumors about how much teams want him. Which brings us back to his extension. If he's a spotty trade asset now, the Heat can't afford to sign him to another deal that undermines whatever market appeal he does have. He could technically become more valuable on the right extension, but that requires a very specific set of terms. And even then, we have to ask, who's the team banging down Miami's door to offer multiple firsts for him? No matter how you slice it, the Heat still wind up in the same spot. Their pursuit of that next star hinges not only on a willingness to move Herro, but on other teams assigning premium value to his services. The 2013 Miami Heat were one of the most dominant teams of the modern era, led by LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in the heart of the Heatless dynasty. But according to Rudy Gay, his Memphis Grizzlies had what it took to knock them off if not for a mid-season trade. Wade, however, isn't buying it. Appearing on the WY Network podcast, Wade responded directly to Gay's claim that the Grizzlies would have beaten Miami if he had stayed on the roster. His message was blunt. You're not just going to win the finals because you think you can. We had just been there 4 years in a row. We're smacking y'all. You don't know how to win in the finals, bro. Gay's comments came earlier this month on the Out the Mud podcast, where he reflected on his trade from Memphis to Toronto during the 2012-13 season. At the time, Gay was averaging 17.2 points per game as the Grizzlies' leading scorer. He believed Memphis, which finished that season 56-26 and reached the Western Conference Finals, could have gone all the way if he had remained. The Grizzlies certainly had a case as a tough matchup. Anchored by Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, and Mike Conley, Memphis was the definition of grit and grind. They beat the Clippers and Thunder in the playoffs that year before falling to the Spurs in a sweep. Gay believes his scoring would have given Memphis the extra push needed to reach the finals. But Wade made it clear, there's a huge difference between making a deep run and actually toppling a championship-tested group. By 2013, the Heat had been to 3 straight finals and were on their way to a second consecutive title. They went 66-16 in the regular season, ripped off a 27-game win streak, and had the league's best player in LeBron at the height of his powers. History sides with Wade here. Even if Memphis had broken through the Spurs, it's difficult to imagine them outlasting Miami in a 7-game series. The Heat survived a grueling finals against San Antonio, capped by Ray Allen's iconic Game 6 shot, and proved they were built for the brightest stage. For Gay, it's a classic case of what if. For Wade, it's simple. The Heat's championship pedigree wasn't something you could just wish your way past. In the end, Wade's fiery response put a stamp on the debate. Whatever Memphis' ceiling was, Wade insists it wouldn't have been at Miami's expense. The Miami Heat can't compete as constructed, but Trae Young could be the next star Pat Riley lands. The 4-time All-Star is in the final year of his contract and has no clarity on his future. Miami is always hunting for the next marquee name, and fans have heard the links. All the Heat must do is offer a package the Hawks can't refuse. Miami is light on draft capital, and the Hawks improved their roster this offseason. If both teams have their eyes on contending, this package likely centers more on talent that can help Atlanta win games. The Heat have several tradable contracts and could make things interesting for the Hawks. Young is an elite playmaker, and the Heat's urgency may have ramped up with Tyler Herro's injury. Could Miami make the stunning September trade this year like the Knicks did for Karl-Anthony Towns last year? This package may just get it done. Heat trade package for Trae Young that the Hawks can't refuse. Miami should send out Herro in this trade because there is no workable solution for a Young and Herro backcourt. Both are problematic defenders with size issues. Herro was an all-star in 2025 and makes this trade immediately plausible. The Hawks will want more, especially to uproot their current roster. They likely ask for a bucket getter and a couple of draft picks. Miami counters with 1 first and a second plus 2 role players to make the transaction work. Ice Trae may be the perfect point guard to unlock Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware. The Heat also keep Nikola Jovic, Davion Mitchell, and Andrew Wiggins out of this trade. They would have a couple of first-round swaps to make another transaction, but Mitchell and Young create a formidable backcourt that gives the Heat new life. Nobody thought Miami would make 2 NBA Finals with Jimmy Butler leading their charge. It is a credit to what a top-end talent can do in Heat culture. Young may be the next beneficiary as head coach Eric Spoelstra finds every way to maximize his skill set. This is a significant haul, and the Heat must come with an agreement on a long-term extension with Trae Young. Miami is not risking their 2030 first-round pick for 1 season with the All-Star guard. Tyler Herro and Norman Powell can be bucket getters in Atlanta, but the Hawks would be searching for a long-term answer at point guard after this trade. It ensues they get a haul back for Young and allows the franchise to build around Jalen Johnson and Zachary Rizicher. This would be a bold trade, but Pat Riley is no stranger to making those. It is his chance to get Trae Young on a discount and get closer to contention. Miami Heat fans may have second thoughts, but they shouldn't. If Riley does it, supporters can trust it was the right move. They just need to wait for him to act.